All right, you guys, what's happening? All right, man. So we got some updates about what's going on in Peru, and you're not going to like the updates. If you're anything like me, and you really, really were hoping that this stuff was real going on in Peru to that little tribe, I guess there was an article that came out today. I don't have it. You could Google it if you want. Just Google aliens in Peru, update. And apparently, there's some miners, gold miners out of Brazil and somewhere else that are mining for gold illegally in Peru. And apparently, they like to dress up and scare the villagers. So this has been, I guess, this information came from the prosecutor in charge of trying to come up with some charges, I guess, for whoever is the perpetrator. But the prosecutor out of Peru in charge of this specific case has come to the conclusion that these are illegal miners out of Brazil and some other South American countries that come to Peru and mine for gold illegally. And they try to intimidate the local villagers, I guess, to make their job easier to mine gold illegally. But hey, man, listen, that's from an article I read. I got so excited when I read the articles a couple of days ago, and it just seemed like it was real. It just seemed like, I don't know. It just came right after the subcommittee hearings with Grosh, Graves, and Fravor. So I was just in the zone, and I was like, "Yeah, man, it's got to be real, dude." We just seen the subcommittee hearing, but that was me being excited. I jumped the gun. I did read some articles. Those people that wrote the articles had jumped the gun as well. but but anyways, that being said, let's move forward. All right, until some more information comes from Peru to otherwise disprove the latest update, I'm going to let it go, man. I'm not going to show you the images, supposed images that came out of Peru, because as of right now, as far as we know, they're not real. So let's move forward, okay? Beyond Peru. Do we all know a gentleman named Stephen Greer? All right, I've been diving into this alien thing for quite a bit. This was supposed to be a podcast about post-military lifestyle and stuff like that, which it is. I mean, technically, we talk about post-military life and stuff, and I guess it just seems like right now a lot of the military that's in the limelight, besides Ukraine and Russia war going on, is this stuff going on with our service members trying to tell stories about, are trying to tell their story about whatever it is they otherwise witnessed, or like in Grosh's situation, interviewed witnesses. So it's just, I guess it's just coming into our field of view. It's pulling a lot of the military conversation right now. But talking about the military, something Stephen Greer brought up in a couple interviews that makes a lot of sense, and I've heard it a couple times before, but I guess we might as well dive into it, is the idea that an alien invasion is nothing more than to deceive us into another 15, 20-year predicament, which creates a giant market for third-party companies contracted with the military. In other words, another military-industrial complex, right? We create a new enemy. That's going to open up new jobs, and then that's going to make new money out of nothing. And then third-party companies are going to see the opportunities, and they're going to make stupid things that supposedly the military needs, and the military turns around and pays stupid amount of money for these things because they print money off. And that's just the continuing, military-industrial complex, right? You create a problem. People come and try to solve the problem. You give them money for those contracts to supposedly solve the problem, and that's just the military-industrial complex just gets greater and greater, like a pyramid. All right. So I guess Stephen Greer was saying that it only makes sense for the United States federal government, and maybe other governments as well, to start throwing around the terminology aliens or UAPs and stuff like that, threat, aerial threat, you know, causing, potential harm to our pilots and other service members or even civilians, right? So let's, I'm assuming the idea is to paint them as a threat to create an issue so that we can have another 15 or 20 year military market. And it makes sense, dude. I mean, it makes sense because right now at this point, if we don't want to go into World War III with another, human race and end up taking out the whole planet, why not convince the world that the enemy is not really from here, right? Let's shoot nukes off into space and then create contracts for people to make shit to shoot nukes off into space and just keep on rolling this big military industrial fucking snowball. It seems legit, man. It makes sense, dude. Am I going all in saying that that's the case and that Stephen Greer, he's saying these aliens are nice people and these aliens are just nice, kind, and they're looking for, new friends and stuff. When the military is over here like, hey man, this is a potentially serious threat. So look, man, it opens a door to that effect, the military industrial complex effect. It opens that door, I think. If we find an entity and automatically label them an enemy or a threat, I get it, we should, right? Because it's safe, but at the same time, it's convenient to make more money in the long run. So like, military industrial complex, you can really camouflage a real issue just by simply saying it's necessary to do what we're doing for your safety, right? And you can just hide a complete issue just by convincing people that it's going to make them safer, right? So like, let's hide the fact that we want a lot of control, of oil in Iraq, right? Let's pretend that Iraq. No, it's not a pretend, okay? Because Al Qaeda was operating out of Iraq, so there were obviously a threat there. But we found that as an opportunity to go and have secure and control some property out there, right? And we held that position for close to 20 years. So like that's a huge market, man. I mean, that's a huge market because everything that went into that, from the civilian side, like uniforms. I mean, you talk about military. They take commercial flights to Africa. To the Middle East. Like, I mean, a lot of this stuff costs money. Those are just little contracts, and I'm sure there's much larger contracts, that maybe I'm not aware of, like these companies that make firearms that grunts use, infantry dudes use, or anybody in the military, I guess, is firing a firearm. A lot of these firearm, like they're made by third party companies. The rocket launchers are made by third party companies. I'm pretty sure Saab makes the Carl Gustav. Doesn't Saab make that? Like, these huge companies get these huge contracts as long as we, say we need this equipment. They're going to make it and sell it to the federal government, and the federal government's going to print off money and buy it. As much money needed, it doesn't matter because they can just print it off. And that printing off of that money just makes people want to work for it more because there's more opportunity where there's more money, and then like that snowball just keeps rolling. So who knows, man? Maybe an alien invasion is just the next 20-year war against fucking what, right? Against what? So they really got to convince us, man. They really got to convince us that there's aliens out there and there's enough of them to be a threat, and that they're threatening enough to harm our largest assets, like our giant boats, Navy vessels, and our F series fighter jets. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can if we can find a way, or if the federal government can find a way to prove that these things are such a threat, then find a way to not even just prove, but just paint the picture. In this day and age, you don't got to prove shit, man. I mean, literally, we were talking about it yesterday with the Eric Gallagher, man. Like, you don't have to prove anything, you know what I mean, to paint someone in a guilty light. You don't have to. You just have to paint a picture. Like, I can talk shit about someone all day long, right? And they could be the nicest person in the world, but if I talk shit about them all day long to everybody around us, then everybody around us is going to think they're a piece of shit because I painted that picture. But in real life, they could be a good person or whatever. But I'm saying, like, that's That's the thing. They don't have to prove aliens are a threat. They have to paint the picture. And as long as we all look at the picture and smile, right? Because everybody likes when they see pictures, right? Everybody sees a UFO or UAP picture and we're like, whoa, dude, that's awesome. Like I was the other day with the 7-foot aliens. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. A huge humanoid light beam thing. Well, it turns out that they're probably just miners. Like I said before, they're probably just miners illegally mining for gold in Peru. So, I don't know, man. And the Peruvian people that are claiming what they're seeing, I'm not saying they're not smart people, but in small, tiny villages, education, a lot of the education you see here in the United States, you're not going to get that in a 1,300-person village in Peru. You're just not going to get it. So when you see something, I'm not saying when you see something uneducatedly, but when you see something and you haven't been open to, the vast experiences as most of the rest of the world, and you haven't seen all these things the rest of the world have seen, you're going to venture off and to say some things like, oh my God, I seen a ghost, or I seen an angel, or I seen a 7-foot alien. You know what I mean? When you're really seeing miners with alien masks running around and trying to slit you guys' throats because they want to mine your gold in Peru. But who knows, man? Maybe that's not the case. I'm just saying that's the article I read, man, and I've been reporting it to you guys, so I want to make sure I'm keeping you guys up to date as well. But it's just who knows? I don't know if it's real as of right now. I've seen some updated articles saying that they're miners, illegal miners, mining for gold illegally, and they're from Brazil and some other South American countries. But that being said, it's funny because. It's funny because like in the Peruvian village, they were the miners attacking the villagers dressed up as aliens, and that story, like as much as it is impressive, like 7-foot aliens, like it's an impressive story with an impressive title. It didn't get big fast, and maybe because most people just looked at it and said that's bullshit. I don't know, but it didn't get big too fast, and I don't even know where I was going with that, dude. I guess I'm going to cut it. I don't know if that shit's real in Peru. I do know that I read an article today disproving it. But I read 2 articles the other day proving it. So who knows, man? Who the fuck even knows? Until I see an alien hanging out with me right there in that chair doing a podcast with me, I'm just going to fucking keep telling you what I think I saw or what I think I seen on TikTok or whatever the fuck. And I'm going to do my best to verify. And if I can't verify, I'm not going to fucking show you. And if I can't verify, I'm going to let you know. Like the pictures I didn't show you yesterday. Can't get them verified. I'm not going to show you that shit. You know what I'm saying? And there's, a huge potential that Peruvian story is fake. So I'm going to tell you that too. There's a good chance that that's not a real story. All right. I'm going to take off, you guys. I don't think I'm going to do one this weekend. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm going to try to take the weekend off. Who knows, man? But this was fun this week, and I'm going to try to pick it up next week, you guys. I appreciate everybody that's watched. I appreciate everybody that's stitched and duetted the TikToks and watched the clips and everything like that. I really appreciate that stuff, and let's keep pushing forward, man. I'm going to keep on pushing forward with the Tree Line Podcast. I'm going to take the weekend, like I said. Please like, subscribe, follow, duet, stitch, repost, talk trash, comment, like. I don't care. Talk shit, dude. I don't care. Show interest, all right? Get excited, get engaged, man, and let's take over the fucking world, all right? Later.